Okay, hi everybody. This is Jill. We are in my studio again, and I wanted to talk to you about quilting and give you a little demo of the quilt that I'm working on, because I was thinking that's your next step. That would have been our next step to make the quilt together. So I thought maybe it would be nice to kind of complete that lesson by showing you what I'm working on. First, we're starting in my studio, taking a look at some recent paintings I made. These are all small canvases that are square in size, and they are various colors, and they are modular, and that means they are really movable and rearrangeable. And I think of this as a kind of a textilic way of working. I don't really know what will happen with these canvases. I might put them in a wall arrangement, but you can see like lots of different things happen when you move them. Some colors relate to others better, but my goal for the year is to make probably about 100 of these small canvases, and then sort of treat that as a lexicon and put something together from this body of work or experiments. But I show you this because I think this is essentially a kind of a patchwork way of working. And so let me go down now to my to the dining room where I have the quilt set up that I want to show you. So I, unlike Judy, have not learned how to edit any video, so that's why we're doing this in one take. So we'll go down the stairs and I can show you the quilt that I'm working on and how we would have worked on ours. Okay, so this is a quilt that I'm making. This is a quilt top that is basically two grids, or rather, I'm sorry, it's like a giant grid. Let me see if I can show it to you a little bit better. So it's essentially like 4 large squares, but each square contains different colors. These are shades of green with just 2 instances of blue and 2 instances of yellow. So I'm gonna put this camera now on this makeshift tripod that is a bottle of seltzer water on top of a pot. Okay, so that's my tripod. Okay, so now I want to show you here. Let me see if I can adjust this. Yeah, it's all very makeshift. Okay, so I want to show you the quilt sandwich. Okay, so we made a quilt top together. You remember that, of course. What the quilt sandwich is made of is the quilt top, a layer inside here called batting. Do you see this? This is a cotton batting, and batting adds warmth and weight. And then this is the quilt back. So for this quilt back, I've just chosen a very basic neutral color, and that's what'll be down on the bed, and then this is on top. All the colors are on the top. So as you can see from this quilt, I've done something in stages. I've attached the quilt sandwich together with safety pins, you can see here. Wait, I'm trying to show them. Okay, all those safety pins hold the layers together, but then you can see here that there is basting stitch, which you remember from doing applique. So after I finish basting the quilt, then I'll take out all of the safety pins, because then the quilt will just be in one piece held together by basting and softer to work with. So that's the sort of 2 stages of that. What I wanted to do is to show you the quilting stitch. So there's a particular stitch that holds the quilt together, and you can see that I've started it here. You see that? So what I'm going to do is quilt this in an off-white thread. And the quilting stitch is basically a running stitch that's brought up and down repeatedly, that holds all the layers together. And I'll demo that for you now. There's a real art to this. I'm totally a beginner. I've made many quilts, but really expert quilters are very, very proud of how close their stitches are together. So let me see if I can show this to you, given our camera situation. Okay, can you see this? All right, so what I do when I quilt is, let's see if I can showcase this a little bit to you. It's also called a rocking stitch. I'll go down into the fabric, and just when I feel it prick through underneath, I go back up. And then I go down again and back up. And this is what's called loading the needle. Do you see how the needle is loaded with a couple different stitches? And then I pull through. Okay? And so what this quilting stitch is going to be, it's going to be, let's see if I can show you again. The quilting stitch is going to radiate out from the center of the quilt in these kind of geometric, just straight lines. You can see that my quilting stitch here is not very good. It's not in a very straight line, but I think when all of the quilt is made together and it's all put together, you really won't notice those imperfections. So that's another thing I wanted to say about quilting and quilts, is that they're soft and pliable. It is sculptural. It's perfection is not important, and I think that's one of the things that I really love about quilting. Also, you begin to measure things, how can I say, when your quilt is taking shape, you don't use abstract measurements anymore. You use, you measure the batting against the top that you've made, and then you measure the back against those two things. So standards kind of go away, and you measure everything according to the thing you've already made. So I really love that, and I think it's a kind of a nice poetics. I'm not a person who likes standards, but I am a person who likes patterns and adjusting to what's needed in the situation. So I'll give you one more view of this quilt that I'm working on, and as I do, I hope that you can sort of envision, watch out, envision our beautiful quilt top and how one day we will finish it. I don't know who the we is going to be. Maybe it'll be Judy and myself. And we will, I don't know, hang it somewhere in the art center, or I don't know, maybe there'll be a reunion in a year and you'll all come and we'll take a nice portrait by the quilt. So anyway, that's a little bit about quilting and the project that I'm working on. And I hope that you're enjoying your last 2 weeks. We're almost there to the finish line. So that's it for quilting, and we'll see you later. Bye.